Greetings everyone, and welcome to Keeping Up with Papa Life After Work, where we find out how one man manages to keep himself busy, now I mean very busy, physically active and mentally engaged after retirement with projects. Today's project, my zero turn needs a little maintenance done to it. Let's check it out. We That's to have made still. Welcome back. Well, you can probably tell from my greasy fingers and shabby clothes that I'm either a big Jethro Tull Aqualung fan or I've already been working on the zero turn. Well, it certainly is some of the former, but a lot of the latter. I've been at this now for a little while. Let me give you a bit of a backstory. So this is a 2015 42-inch cut Mustang zero turn mower from Troy Bilt. Things sometimes fall into your lap, and this is one of those instances where something landed and I really couldn't walk away from it. This belonged to a neighbor. He'd had it for 8 or 9 years, and the deck rusted out completely. So at that point for him it was just something to be thrown away. So he asked me to get rid of it for him, so I brought it over to the house and just parked it until I figured out what I was going to do with it. Well, I started messing around a little bit, and I happened to look at the hour gauge over here, and it had like 182 hours on it, and that was it, which is nothing for a mower like this. So at that point, I started looking into, well, could I restore it? Well, yes, all it really needed was a deck. However, a deck delivered was about $800. I shopped them, could not find a better deal. I finally got a hold of someone that got down to about $720, I think, and I had the deck shipped in, installed it, and it works great. It, however, has a couple of little issues. One issue is that it has a couple of oil leaks, at least one, maybe 2 oil leaks at the engine. I think I know where those are. And then in addition to that, this lever had broken or had frozen up to give throttle to the machine, and it would just run on high speed, and that was it. That worked fine, but it'd be nice to be able to turn it down. So I thought I'd fix those 2 things, and the third thing I'd like to have work if I can figure it out is when you go in reverse with the mower blades on, it shuts off. And I know that's a safety feature, it's important, but it's not something where I'm going to back over anyone or anything. So I'd like to have that disengaged or deactivated so I can run backwards a little bit in reverse. I won't really mow in reverse, but I'd like to be able to back up and not have to constantly cut the mower blades back on. So we're going to see if we can figure that out as well. Let's get started. Project number 1 is the oil leak. Now I'm of the impression that the oil leak is coming from the valve covers. Should be relatively easy to fix. The covers are very accessible right here on the outside. You can pull them right off, no problem at all. And I have in fact done that already and replaced the gaskets that were in place. Well, not exactly. What I did was I ordered gaskets for this machine online, and they're paper style gaskets, felt gaskets. Installed them. And then the one on this side does not, let's see, it's dry, does not appear to be leaking. The one on this side, boy, it's leaking like a sieve. I mean, big time. So I backed it out, sloping it downhill a little bit, ran it for about 10 minutes at a high idle, and sure enough, we just had a steady stream of oil coming out from underneath this valve cover. And when I took it apart, there were no felt gaskets in there. There were just Permatex style gaskets in there. I scraped those off, cleaned it up really good. The surface is perfectly clean and dry. And you just got such a thin metal here that it's every opportunity, I think, for this little section down here to kind of bow out just a touch. No matter how flat this is, you've only got it held in place by the corners. And oil seeps past in the middle. And I think that's why, and I believe it was a factory seal, I think that's why the factory used a gasket maker instead of using felt gaskets. When I put the felt gaskets in, I knew there was a 50-50 chance at least that they simply wouldn't work. But I bought them. I wanted to try them. It was a lot simpler than doing this. But that was a mistake. And so we're going to pull this off. We're going to take the new gasket back out. We're going to coat it with a gasket maker. And this is the Right Stuff 90-minute gasket maker from Permatex. And see if we can seal it up. One other thing I did also is I cleaned everything up really well. Again, the cover's off of here. I got in here with a water hose and just did some aggressive cleaning. Of course, protecting the carburetor so no water got inside of that. And it's much cleaner now. And by it being clean, I'll be able to see where the new oil leaks are dripping. If there's leaks above and beyond these valve gaskets, valve cover gaskets. All right. 4 screws. All I really need to do is break them loose and they'll come right out. As soon as I let pressure off of this, it'll spill oil. So I've got a rag down here to catch it. Well, it made a bit of a liar out of me. It's not dripping oil everywhere. You know what? I bet all the oil that was inside the valve cover has dripped out already through that seal, broken seal. Okay, here you go. Yeah, look down here. This is just soaked with oil where it's been leaking past. And there's just no way for me to get that to seal using this gasket. You can only tighten it so much. Okay, new gasket. Comes back off. All right. Should just snap off with no issue at all. Okay. And that's not entirely true. It's smashed on one corner. No worries, no need to try and save it. Let me go get a tool and clean this up. Alright, just got a little bit of gasket material around the holes here I'd like to get rid of. Bonded pretty fast, didn't it? Now, I did a very, very good job of cleaning this when I first took it off. I mean, you can see the inside was spotless. I had all this really perfectly clean. Get the last little bit of gasket material off with the best tool that God ever made, your thumbnail. Alright, it looks good. This is actually a degreaser. Take a little bit of degreaser. Set that aside and let it dry. Also, the surface of the head is perfectly clean, or it was before it leaked oil all out the bottom. So I'm going to wipe it down real quick. I'm going to spray some of my degreaser. This is purple stuff in a different bottle. And just give this a good wipe down. To be a little safe, I'm going to get some water on the rag. Make sure as much of that cleaner is gone as is possible. We don't want anything in there to mess with the bond for the new gasket. Alright, ready to seal it. I might actually read the instructions on this. Okay, the instructions say make sure everything is clean on both sides. Put your bead on one side only, then put it in place and immediately put some screws in there to hold it in place and then tighten it. It's that simple. Make sure you have a ring around the bolt holes. In this case, yeah, they are bolts, I guess. Okay. And then we're going to run a bead down here. And honestly, when I took the other one off, this one wasn't leaking too bad on this side. The other side was leaking pretty bad. And there was just next to no gasket material in it at all. Now I'm going to do what everybody else probably does in a case like this and use my finger to just make sure I have a smooth bead all the way around. do. This only goes on one way. And that's not it. This is. Okay, so. I can see the holes. Lightly tighten, and if you do like you typically would do in this case, you'll do alternating corners. It'd be really nice if this fixes this. I used this yesterday, and after running it for 10 minutes, it was smoking like a chimney. I mean, it really was putting out a lot of smoke, dripping out down onto the manifold and muffler. Not pleasant. Okay, lightly tighten in an alternating pattern. And that's it. Now we wait 90 minutes and see if it works. One other comment. This side was originally leaking badly, as I mentioned a few moments ago. It doesn't appear to be leaking now. And I'm just stubborn enough to think I want to know if that gasket's going to work or not. So rather than do what I've done on the left side and change out for, for a former gasket, I'm just going to keep this gasket in there that came from, the felt gasket, and see if that works or not. I'm really curious. If it starts to leak again, I'll do the same swap I just did. While we're waiting for the gasket to dry, let's talk about one other issue that I was working on today, and that's the throttle control cable. This is the old one. I put the new one in place. The throttle control cable is controlled from right here, and it had simply frozen up. Actually it got bent at the end, and you would move it, and the cable wouldn't move. It just needed to be replaced. So I ordered another one online, and this took me probably about 15-20 minutes. A little longer than I thought it might, but you had to disassemble a lot. This had to come off, which was just really 3 bolts. And then I realized later there was a 4th bolt right down here, which I did not take out, and I snapped the mount for it. So now this moves all around. Not a big loss, but it's nothing I can fix later because the actual mount's broken. From the motor end, here's what's involved. This is the actual throttle control lever right here. And as you move the lever up front on the right-hand side there, this, of course, moves the throttle left and right. To remove it, you have to undo this screw, which is a clamp that holds this in place. And then you have some working room, and this just kind of fits right in, and it's a little bend in the end of it that goes right in that hole. So you take that off, you pull it out, you go to the other end, which is where all the time involved was, and you unbolt one and you bolt another one in. That ended up being a little more of a challenge than I expected. And here's why it was a little more of a challenge than I expected. In my left hand is the old one, the new one's in place. Well, you can see over here, the spacing was different on the new one. It really wasn't all that difficult. The screws just screw into this bracket underneath the plastic. So I just drilled a new hole, lined it up perfectly, then put it in place. That ended up being a surprise. There was a little bit of a challenge with locating the throttle handle in relation to here. What you ended up doing was loosening this, and I actually had it at slow as possible. This is actually slow right here. And then I set, and this, by the way, was trial and error. It took 2 or 3 times. But I loosened this, moved it all the way to slow, and clamped it back down. And now when I go up all the way to high, it's in the right spot. There also is, when you push this a little further, it's supposed to activate the choke. And the choke is right here. Well, it doesn't activate the choke because something's missing. A bar of some sort is supposed to go from maybe this hole down here to the choke, hole in the choke, and that's just not there anymore. I'll look around and see if I can find one. And at this point, it's not all that critical. Whenever you start it when it's cold, you simply walk back here, raise the choke up, and then turn over the key, and it fires right up. So if you're like me at all, when you fix one problem, you sometimes create another, and that's what I did here. This is the fuel line going from the fuel tank back to the carburetor. I had this up actually I had it up kind of like this, not realizing it, and it was rubbing against the flywheel. So I now have a badly chafed fuel hose. Now it's not really all that bad. It's not going to hurt anything, but you know, I can feel that it's fairly close, and I'll go ahead and buy some fuel line and replace that. It's really, really simple to do. Fourth item while we're waiting for the gasket to dry. I would like to have it so when I get off of the seat or I go into reverse, the engine continues to run with the blades engaged. In theory, there was a way to do that. I found a good tutorial online. It showed what I thought was this exact same mower. And what you had to do is remove the battery, and there were two connectors, one on each side, and you just disconnected those two connectors, and that would allow it to do what I want it to do. Well, that's simply not the case. The line off of this, which I assume is a switch here, feeds down to here, goes straight into a harness. There's no intermediary connector anywhere. This is the only connector that's in line. And I did try taking it off and seeing what would happen, and of course, it didn't work. So I would say that the other option is to figure out how to get this switch out of here and figure out a way to close that switch essentially permanently so it thinks that someone's sitting on the seat and it's not in reverse. You know, I don't know about the reverse part though. That's simply not going to work. That will allow me to get up and off the seat, but somewhere there's another connector that when you put it in reverse and back up a little bit, it's triggering that connector. This is going to require a little more research. If it allows me to bounce around on the seat and not have the engine shut off, that'd be fine. I was having it turn off on me yesterday when I just kind of turned around and looked behind me. You'd shift your weight a little bit differently and the thing would turn off. That'll be half the battle if that works. While waiting on the RTV to dry, I went online and found a video that showed how to disconnect the connectors that force the mower to not mow in reverse. And it turns out they're actually down at the base of these guys. You can't really see it in this video, but down there when you pull back, there's a plunger at the very bottom, and this hits the plunger and that causes it to disconnect. Well, to get to that, you have to scoot the battery out of the way or remove it, which I kind of have it off to the side already. Run your arm down through that hole, back up to here, and get a hold of that connector and disconnect it, all the while fumbling around trying to do it. Well, I did manage to get my arm back there, but I couldn't find the connector. I did find the wires. It's full of leaves and crud back in there. It's going to be quite difficult, I think, to reach it. I'll get it all cleaned out good where I can see it better, and maybe that'll help. But at this point, I'm kind of thinking this may not be as big of an issue as I thought it was. And 90 minutes have passed. Let's fire up, back around a little bit, and see if we're leaking any oil. Just gonna let it run for 15 minutes, see what happens. All right, about 5 minutes run time. Hey, you see some smoke coming up now, okay? That hopefully is just smoke from residual oil. It's nothing, not nearly as bad as it was earlier. So that's encouraging. At this point, I would have had oil dripping out from here earlier, and that's not happening. A lot of smoke now. It's not a good sign. It could be residual oil. I'm running it faster. It's really getting hot. If it's not residual oil, I have a problem other than the valve cover. This would be a problem at the head. Not sure. It's not nearly as much smoke as previously. Still leaning towards residual. You know what? Probably the thing to do is to take it out and do a little mowing. Give it a good opportunity to run hot. And then come back and take a look at it. Let's do that. Well, with this much smoke, it's probably fair to say that there's more to it than just residual oil. Not really sure what to do about this one. I'm not seeing oil leaking down onto the red plate underneath it like it was before. But it's definitely got some oil. We'll do it a couple more times and see if it clears up. About 10 minutes later, smoking has quit. There's no fresh oil on the red base plate underneath the engine, which there was previously. So I'm going to go and do maybe another 10 minutes worth of mowing and see if perhaps it's just residual oil. I'm holding out, keeping my fingers crossed that's the case. I would say we are still smoking. We have a serious leak somewhere. That's a big disappointment. It's coming off of both sides. One point I didn't mention is one of the big reasons I bought this was because $800 for a deck with an engine with only 180 or so hours on it. I expected to get a lot of mowing out of that $800 deck. It would stop me from using the Kubota BX to mow with here in the yard. And from just purely a financial analysis standpoint, $800 deck, Kubota BX, almost a $3,000 deck. There's plenty of life left on the Kubota BX deck, but why wear it out if I've got something that I can wear out, something else I can wear out that's a lot less money. One thing that I do see is that there's a lot of old oil crud that's all over these areas where it's smoking. And it's not just smoking from one little spot, it's kind of scattered around. So it could be some of that oil-soaked dirt is still on there and burning off. I kind of doubt it because this is a lot of smoke. But I'm going to let it rest for a little bit. I'm going to come back in and wash it one more time really well, try and get rid of some of that additional dirt, and I don't know, maybe that'll help. Here's an example of what's come off of the heads and the walls and it's deposited itself right there. It's oil-soaked dirt. That most definitely could cause this kind of smoking. Coming over to the other side, I don't really see any here, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's probably down there where I can't see it. And I got smoke coming off still. Now down here, when we had oil leak issues, this was soaked with oil. If there's no oil on the base plate anywhere, it may just be all that crud. I'm gonna cool a little more. I'm gonna really get another good rinsing. It's too hot to touch under the valve cover with a bare finger. A little bit of dirt, but no oil. Flip it over. Let's do the other side. This is the one that was leaking so bad. Okay, a little bit of dirt, but no oil. One more time cleaning. This time I went at it again with this pressure wand that I have. Works pretty well, and let me tell you something, there was still a ton of crud down in there. I took a flashlight, and now I've opened up everything. The cooling fins all are about as clean as they're going to get without me getting, some kind of hot water pressure cleaner on it. I think we're much better, so let's give her a shot, see how it does. Okay, 2 little passes with the mower mowing. And I mostly have smoke on the right side now. And I think I'm hearing like boiling water. Of course, it's air cooled. So what that probably is water that's down there from when I sprayed it. I hope. Otherwise, there's water in the oil. Let me check the oil. Two more long passes. We have oil coming now oil smoke coming out of the left side. There's nothing really down on the pan down there, the support pan. Not nearly as bad as it was earlier, but it's still doing it. It shouldn't be. Aha, see this gunky, nasty, milky stuff in the oil intake? That indicates water in the oil. Water got in the oil, obviously, from me washing it. There's no other possible source for it. So it's time to go ahead and do an oil change and kind of pick up and run from there. Ready to change the oil. I went out today and I bought the cheapest oil I could find. That was 10W30. I got 4 quarts of it. I'm figuring 2 quarts will go in to do a cleansing of the engine, and I'll dump those back out a little bit later, and then add 2 more fresh quarts after that. I also will, at the moment, just pull the existing filter off and clean it as best as possible and put it back. I have a second filter, a replacement filter on order, which should show up later today or sometime tomorrow. Then I'll be able to do the final portion of the oil change. See if we can get all this nasty stuff out of there. This is something that's new to me. They have a hose that comes down off the engine, and you just basically take the tip off the end there and drain the oil. It's a really kind of a unique and very effective method of doing this, I hope. So let me see if I can get that to work and have you actually see me do it. There you go, now you can see it. All right. There it goes. Definitely has some water in it. It's not too bad though, this is good. I mean, I've seen it where it was just pure sludge and white nasty mess. Looks like mud, but let's see. There you go. That's perfect. Should work. There you go. Okay. Now you can't see it well. I'm going to spill oil like crazy when I take this out. I just want to get the nasty oil out of it. It may be water soaked. Okay. This filter is really, it's not that old. My biggest concern was how much water might be in the oil that's in the filter. And I'm just going to dump it out and see what it looks like. Get out of there what we can get out of there. And then put it back for now until the new filter comes in. And I'll change the oil again completely when the new filter arrives. Let's inspect the oil that came out of this. Now I have in the Jeep previously taken out oil that looked like a milkshake. This is not that kind of oil. It's not all that bad. I'm not entirely sure that I need to even consider doing a flush on the engine. It's just, it looks okay. It looks like typical dirty oil to me. I'm not seeing anything, I don't know, there's a little bit of, you can see stratification occurring there. You know, I've got the oil that's cheap. We'll go ahead and do it. I don't have a manual on this, but there's plenty of information available online. And it says 2 quarts of 10W30. So, this is 10W30. And half of a bottle will be 2 quarts. See if we have enough or too much. Actually, we're showing too much. The filter doesn't have anything in it though, it's completely empty, so when that fills, this will drop a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it up, back it out, let it run for a few minutes, see if we have any oil leaks. I need to clean up this oil that's on the base plate down here. We're now backed out of the garage. I'm going to run this thing for a few minutes and heat it up, maybe actually take it for a little spin around the yard. Come back and see if we are smoking or not, or leaking oil. 3 or 4 minutes at a full speed actually, and we do have some smoke coming off this one side. I don't know, looks to me like it's just residual. You know what, if this resolves things, this will make me very happy. And now I need to put this back together. So that's got to be out of the way. Because there are 3 screws that hold this down here. And I'm guessing, yep, 2 more in the front. Probably time to replace the air filter as well, so I need to look into doing that. Well, the ultimate test is actually mowing. So I took this thing out and mowed a few strips, probably for 3 or 4 minutes. And coming back in here and parked it, I don't really see any smoke. Could we have fixed it? Oh my gosh, that would be fantastic. I think we did. You know, unbelievably, I'm surprised. We may have fixed our smoking problem. There's no oil down here anywhere. I don't really have any smoke coming up off of the engine. I ran it for a good 5 or 7 minutes at high speed under heavy duress. It's doing well. It really was just residual crud on the engine. In addition to that, we got the cable issue resolved. It's now working fine for speeding up and slowing down using the lever up front. And I haven't quite yet figured out the issue with mowing in reverse. There are a few tutorials online. None of them seem to apply to this particular application. But, oops, this yellow fly season, worst time of year from that standpoint. These things hurt like crazy. Anyway, I think we're there. I'm very happy. I'm going to do some mowing. Well, that's it. Another project successfully completed. I have to say I'm kind of pleased with myself on this one. I was really worried that I may have a major issue of some sort with the engine and those oil leaks, but I don't. Now I can take my spare oil that I carry on the mower at all times and replace it with just some glasses. Well, thanks again for watching, and as usual, comments and questions and advice are welcome. Please remember to like and share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Keeping Up with Papa, Life After Work. Papa out.